Hey team, how are we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and I'm here today, tonight, Monday night. I'm always here on around 7:30. Tonight it's a little bit later. We've got the adults in the room now. And tonight is about the survival tips on basically your first year in the military, whether it be Air Force, Army or Navy, from a veteran's perspective, on how I can reveal some of the secrets behind what it takes to absolutely um, use smooth sailing, so to speak, even for Navy, to navigate that first year safely, but also come out with a reputation and a capability where your mind is still intact, where you are also accepted by your peers, because at the end of the day, you're about mateship, you're about adventure, and you're about stability, capability, legacy. So let's make sure we tick off those boxes tonight and talk about the basics on how to get you through training. Now let's we'll do, before we go into revision on some of the things that have come up in the last few days, let me put on these spectacles of wisdom and just let you know that it's great to be here tonight. Who we got here? Simon Powell, the Raffy. There you go, straight in here. Thank you very much, moderator. That's what the blue means, team. Green means you're one of the members. You're also enlisted as like a little soldier, that gets promoted as you stay there longer. So hit the join button, join us today, and let me help you in some kind of way. Yep. Thanks for being here tonight. You could have been anywhere. Scotty, g'day, mate. I hope the stream goes well tonight. I'll go up and use the comments here. Where are we? Scotty's working pretty hard lately with his new car. Well done. I hope the stream goes well tonight. I'll try and watch them up to it tonight. Up to it. Take care all. All the best, Scotty. All the best to you. Joshy Fawns is back in town. That's nice to hear. Time goes by up fast. We have to make the most of what we have. Life is short. It absolutely is. Before you know it, you've done a fart, curries come out your pants, and you realise you're 35 years old. As you get to 45, your eyes stop working. Around 53, downstairs, the pink candle decides to stay in bed most of the time. Yeah. What's up, team? G'day, Corona. Used to be my favourite beer. My Corona. Peppers, Kanan, Navy veteran. Good to have you here, Navy veteran. I hope you're doing well there, my man. We're talking about something the other day. It was pretty serious, to tell you the truth, for people like Foxy, for people like Navy veteran. And this is going back into a little bit of the homework from last week. And that is the government is talking about allowing for foreign troops to join the Australian Army, which has always been able to do under lateral transfer. I get it. No worries. But that was only really from England. Right? New Zealand soldiers have always been able to come over, permanent resident, okay, transfer over, come to the Australian Army. But one of my biggest fears is they're unable to answer the question properly on whether this will be extended to other countries. And my fear is that initially, if they do not get the numbers, or they have a hard time getting this to that 80,000 member mark, considering that, over 2,000 years ago, you had to be a landowner just to be in the military, and it was considered the most honourable thing you could do every single year. And now in a population of 27 million, we can't even get 1 in 500 to come and join our military, for beautiful pay, stability, mateship, everything that is the antidote of mental health, while sometimes causing it. But my fear is that they could open the books to countries that do not share our values, that do not share our culture, that would absolutely turn us into a Carthaginian army, which is based on basically mercenaries and an open pipeline to immigration. So that's a scary one. So here we are. Almost all, if you were to actually open it up to them, we'd have more than 1 million applicants within an hour trying to come over. So we need to be very, very careful. And my fear is, with the Labor Party, this path for a fast but lazy solution. And then ultimately what can happen is you can end up with a country where this is happening. This is insane. Mexico has just had an election, and so far, 37 of the candidates have been murdered. Not only is that absolutely disgusting, but also an indictment on the female who is now the president of Mexico. If she's still alive and 37 are dead, Do you reckon that says she might be a little bit complicit? Yeah, I think it does. Absolutely. Yeah, Mexico's election is now the bloodiest in modern history after a candidate running a local office in central Puebla state was murdered on Friday at a political rally, taking the number of assassinated candidates to 37 ahead of Sunday's vote. This was taken on the 31st of May. Huerta Cabrera, a candidate who was running for a council seat in the town of... Yep. Dead. Righto. And this only beat the last assassination by 35 on the last election. If you've got 30 million people that have tried to escape your country as refugees, that kind of tells you that Mexico is an absolute shithole, and Donald Trump was right from the start, doesn't it? You know, the women are beautiful, the food looks great, they come across as they're all Christians, but they don't seem to act like it. Anyway, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Sorry, I just had to bring that one to you in case you didn't know just how lucky you were to be in Australia. So it looks funny when we say surviving Australian Army, when in actual fact, you pretty well got no chance of getting hurt almost, have you? Last week, before I deploy to some islands, Navy veteran, so you're going to be in the land of mosquitoes, the land of doxycycline. Some weird dreams come after you've been on that shit for 6 months, I tell you. Delicious, delicious. You a coffee drinker? Give us a thumbs up if you're not a thumbs drinker, not a coffee drinker, and you're looking at being in the military. I tell you what, it took me 20-something years to get the memo, and then I realised how good it is. Hey, Cass, hope your health is improving. It's not. My arm last night had me out of bed for over 3 hours. Might have to go on the carnivore diet, I think. Wait a sec. Hey, mate, we're on live, mate.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, see, mate. Wait. Yeah, that was the K-Dog. Max Edits, about to enlist next. G'day, everyone. G'day, Max. Max, are you our latest, one of our latest Patreon members? We've just had a whole flurry of excellent Patreon members. I've been on the phone all day, today and yesterday, to some really amazing people. Really amazing. If you're on our team, you're missing out. You really are. If you've got that link there, Simon Power, can you whack it in the comments, please, my man? Richie Manning, that's a cool name. Kaz, thanks for what you do, pal. Great information, mate. Someone's got to do it. At the end of the day, I believe there would be more people that would do what I do. However, once I get out of the army, they're normally moving on at the speed of marriage. Or what's happening is they're in the Army, Air Force or Navy and you're actually gagged and you're not allowed to. So, yeah, I spoke to a YouTuber today that's joined the military. Okay, here we go. So, Kaz, what's the membership that gives a phone call privileges? That is the Patreon link that hopefully was got in the comments right there now. You tick on that, go down to Black Legion, tick on there, and basically what happens is, bam, I send it through a greeting. Someone's just come through now. Who we got? I don't call your names out as such, team, because I never know whether it's a sensitive thing to you that you don't want people to know about. Okay, this is an alias, so Tense. Great to have you here, mate. I'll be sending you a message in a moment. Here's in the Black Legion. Great to have you here. I can't wait to have a communication with you. A lot of the questions you ask, guys, about how to survive the training, the tips and tricks from a veteran's perspective, from a 4 times instructor, well, more than 4 times, because I was for Sub 1, All Corps. I was at CTC, but my bum was bleeding, so I never got to do that. I was twice for officers and senior NCOs. I was for ITs at the School of Infantry as well, Depot Company. So plethora of understanding of exactly what it feels like to be on your side of the table, my side of the table, regarding understanding something for survival and tips, that there is as many dilemmas for older entrants as what there is for younger entrants. There is no perfect time, but what there is when you're younger, although you might have a little bit more confusion about what you're looking at, how to make sense of it, etc., coming out of the civilian world into the military arena, basically don't have the trappings of someone that's representing family, children, future, stability, etc. And a lot of the time actually given up something to go forward. We've got someone from South Africa at the moment. I'm not going to mention his name, but very much appreciated. And I spoke to him for ages last night, and he's doing a step down from a massive amount of money, him and his lovely wife. She's a lawyer, and he's come from South Africa only 4 years ago. He's 34 years old, going to join the military, and he's doing it because despite the fact that he's on all the money with him and his missus, there is something missing. When you join the Australian Army, Air Force, Navy, there is a calling from the heart to say, I need the camaraderie. I need the mateship. I need the dark humour. I need to get rid of some of the seriousness, responsibility, some of the HR bullshit that happens in this world and go to where the world is a little bit more real, where it is stripped back, where a man is as strong as his words and his honour and is tested and told the truth when he fails. Also on top of that, the adventure, the fact that you're doing training, the fact that you get, pardon me, free medical to train hard. When you hurt yourself, we can put Humpty back together most of the time. A simple but difficult lifestyle. Smash that like button, says Mr. Peppers. Thanks very much for that, Simon. William Crass, Billy, is it back? Macron called election in France, left screaming it's because of right-wing parties doing well in recent elections. As we say, in November, what we're about to see is a world election, one of the first world elections of your entire life where we're going to see capitalism versus Marxist ideals. And if Marxist ideals if that prevails, the wokeness, whether it's from corruption or from the sentiment of the youth that don't understand what they're signing on for, i.e., Cuba, Venezuela, Sri Lanka, then guys, you better hope that you're in the military, because that's one place where you're going to be important, and your job is at least going to be there, even if you are a tool of the government. I've been drinking like 6 coffees a day. Addiction to coffee. It's funny when you come off it, isn't it? Hey, Kaz, hey team, hey love, how you going? For those guys, that is his real name, Senior Love Sharma. Again, he can tell you exactly, as one of our patrons, what it's like to be on big money but feel unfulfilled and feel like there is a calling to the military to serve, to create that legacy, the capability to be immersed in something that is bigger than yourself. So this is a man, you can't buy him. He is a self-motivated individual, and we're lucky to have him. And that is his real name, as we said. There he is, Sleazy Carl. Who's this? Tony B. He sounds handsome. He sounds like a man with a good beard. Maybe I know him. I wish I enlisted when I was younger. Instead, I partied. Yep. I partied while I was in, and I wonder what happened to all the monies that I spent on girls that said no to me. Some said yes. I'm just glad that, that I didn't end up with children. Sorry I was late, folks. That's what she said as well. Can we get some thumbs up there to Bucko? We've got the lass that looks after the camels. Coffee first thing I have in the morning. I think if I didn't, I would trip over my feet. She has got big feet, team. I'm going to jump down here to the bottom of our questions, because otherwise some of the people might be putting their respectful comments in and not getting answered. If it's an important one, make sure you just click and paste, grab your comment, and then put it down below, and we'll catch you. So questions, everything, always. While everyone is distracted with this election or another local controversy, the systems of digital governance and the usurping of Australia occurs without fanfare. Absolutely. We just, hey, g'day, lovely Cass, how you going? In answer to the question everything, we just saw Dan Andrews get rewarded for what I believe is one of the worst representations that we've ever seen in Parliament for the Premier of Victoria. And he's been rewarded for it. I don't understand that at all. I thought he was going to jail. Not that he's guilty of anything that's been put on paper, I guess. But other than that, how do we survive military training? G'day, Jenny G, Jennifer from the block. How do we survive? So let's look at our first question as we get to it. And I've broken this down to make it a little bit easier for all of us. The enlistment process. Naturally, that is a difficult one. I'll get rid of that off the screen. Okay. The enlistment process can be a very that stem and you're thinking to yourself, what the hell? This is going to cost me a fortune, my parents a fortune. They were the ones that wanted me to do it, but it's just not me. So I'm giving up that for a maybe. You know, giving up potentially getting out at year 10 and going into the military at 17 years old. Giving up a trade and saying the trade might give me stability. It might give me something for 40 years other than just a bad back, but it's not going to give me the friendship, the mateship, etc. that I'm going to need. And we've got a competing ideal with the Army, but I can't get a goddamn straight answer from a process that should be done, okay, like a curry fart, straight after the meal, you know, after dinner mint, solution, and you're not getting those answers. So now you're starting to think, have I done the wrong thing? Have I done something wrong? When no, you haven't. It's just that we've got an extremely dysfunctional recruiting system, but you need to bark up their tree. You need to let them know you're there. You need to put pressure on them to make them meet you on the other side of the table, so to speak. You know, it's very important that you put that pressure on recruiting to let them know that you're a candidate that wants to get in, want to get in now. I think it's an absolute travesty that we don't have the transparency of being able to walk into the DFR office and say, I wish to join. It's not like we've ever had someone go in there in this gunless country and shoot it up. That hasn't occurred. So why can you not walk in there without solicitation and go in there and say, I want to join the military? The door slams behind you, him and her. They go, what job are you looking for? This is the priority list. Look at one of those, point at one of them. We're going to test you 2 weeks from now. I hope you're fit and you're in winter. That's what it should be, especially if we're trying to get our numbers up. We shouldn't be advertising to foreign countries while we're making it almost impossible for our own to get in. So the enlistment process, you're looking at anywhere up to between 3 and 6 months. You know, you're going to have outliers where they say it's taken them even longer, but sometimes there's a reason behind that as well, right? You might be getting told the whole answer. They might be waiting for you to get the hint and not reapply. You know, and that'd be sad if that's the case. Okay, wait a second. Let's go back up here and put this up. How do we say about country? Let's chat. I'm an X7 area. G'day, mate. Tech nerd. And no, worked in the bleeding edge of the renewable industry. We're screwed if nothing changes. Look, g'day, Dave. How you going, mate? What we actually need is for people to understand that the power solution for Australia is nuclear, okay, is solar, is hydro, you know, it is coal, it is gas, it is all of these things working in unison. We spoke about this last stream, and people should have the choice, one, via their ethics or their wallet, because eventually the wallet overrules the ethics and just gets the job done to keep the family, you know, above water while the rest of the bills come in, doesn't it? Someone said, good news here. What do we got? Foxy news, good news. I passed my upgrade BFA and back to JB. Well, there you go. So Foxy's back on the running track. Well done. Pardon me. Does that mean they're going to take you away from the camel's butt? I hope not. Well, this is true. Mr. Buckaroony, Mr. Buckaroony, you know, up from north, the whole ADF is dysfunctional because we've got some more ships in dock than the ocean. Yeah, it's true. And a lot of that is because we're now playing politics with our military, which is supposed to be the opposite of being political. It's meant to be where the rubber meets the road. It's meant to be where the politicians have failed, communication is no longer working, and then they end up with the military saying, well, we've got an answer for you. You know, keep out of our way. You've asked us. Now we come in, don't tell us what to do. We'll give you 3 courses of action. You choose one of them and we'll execute it. We should not be going anywhere unless we can win. and wherever we go, it should be that if we lose Australian sons and daughters under the red, white, and blue of our flag, that they and their parents be able to say, one, they died for a great cause, and two, I can rest knowing that they died doing the right thing. It shouldn't be just for bullshit politics that's happening with things like Ukraine, etc. That money should be in Australia. Yes. We just see four hostages got released or rescued over in Gaza too. What have we got? Vector. I don't know if I've seen your name there. Yeah, I have. I tried and persisted, but process took too long. They asked to do assessment day again as time had lapsed. I finally stopped trying. Vector, don't stop trying, mate. You regret it for the rest of your life. Okay, there must have been a reason why something happened. There's always an element of something we've done or haven't done, or something they want from us as well. So, mate, I'd encourage you to get back into it, get involved. Go in there forewarned. If you need to jump on Patreon, do that, and let's work out an individual plan between yourself and myself to get you back in there and put some pressure on them and tell them that you will not be the fish that John West rejects. Okay, so once you go to get in, from wherever you are in Australia, you're going to get told to come in for the oath of affirmation, once you've passed your enlistment date. One thing you should never do is ever say, no, I can't make your date, because as soon as you can't make an enlistment date, they're going to get your file, even if it's electronic, and put you on the bottom of the pile. You may never hear from them again because they gave you the date and you said no. So when you do go to get in, they're going to send you to your local area, whether it be Victoria, whether it be Sydney, Brisbane, Western Australia, Queensland, etc. And they'll fly you down to a location where you're going to go and do your ceremony and get ready to go to Kapooka itself. And then from there, you're going to be around a whole bunch of individuals. They're going to be in your platoon doing oath of affirmation with their families, etc. Do a litmus test on them, have a bit of a look at them, and remember, don't give away too much of yourself too early, because the person that might be coming over to make a friend out of the anxiety they're going through at the moment might turn out to be someone that's a little bit more of a rotten egg, and you can end up becoming their crutch as they have a hard time. So pick your friends wisely when you're going towards the enlistment day. The next one that I was going to talk about is actually the training itself. So when you get to Kapooka, you've got to remember one thing. Not one person there knew you before you got there. So if you're going to shit, if something's going wrong, then it's either them or it's you. And if you're the only one that's copping it, then maybe it's you. And maybe you need to change that. Maybe you need to ask someone. I think when you get to Kapooka, or even the night before you get to Kapooka, you should talk to people and say, if we're in the same platoon, same section, we need to be able to have a conversation with each other and say we're here for each other, forge that battle buddy. Again, you've heard me say this at nauseum, and tell them, I'm here for you. Now you need to be here for me too. I'll make sure I pick up your slack. If you're having a hard time with weapons, I will be there and I will help you do the testing. If you need someone to do push-ups with you at night time when the lights go out because your upper body strength is so bad you couldn't have sex, you couldn't get someone pregnant in a high estrogen island, then I'll help you with that. You need to help each other. You need to be able to communicate with each other and accept people for their bad qualities as well as their good, and work on their bad qualities to assist them. If they're a fuckwit of a person, you need to let them know. Put a hand on their shoulder when there's no one else around and go, I hate to tell you, mate, but you've got a bit of a shit personality, and it's also being noticed by your buddies that you're very hard to work with, that you're a taker, you're not a giver at all. From there, system, become their buddy, get them through that training, and hopefully you just never see them again. But don't leave them to suffer. Otherwise, there will be anxiety for them. They're a volunteer as well. They've got a mum and dad. They might not have had a father figure. They might have some personality problems, and it might be the very reason why they're here. Hit the like if you can, team. Come on, 17. Just above the legal age. Once you get there, also make sure that each day you allocate a 2IC, or whether that goes for a week. And that's a way of including everyone in on the journey, where every day someone gets told, Righto, who we got there? Zach Don 1. Okay, where is he? Zach Don 1. Okay, you two, righto, for tomorrow, which means you're always the last one out of the building. You're the last one behind the section to let everyone or the section commander know all here. One section is all here. Yeah, and you will have quickly checked everyone's rooms to make sure that all the locks are there, that everyone's out of the mess hall. Everyone come to me when I say one section, everyone comes over to you. And if you do that every day, you're going to look sharp, you're going to stay together, you're going to look after each other, you're going to be a good section. Hey, Kaz, I'm 16, 17 next month. I'm enlisting as infantry waiting for my assessment date. Holy shit, you're going in early, man. But there was 14-year-olds at Gallipoli too. Assessment to tips. Well, I can't talk to anyone on Patreon that's 16, but 17 I can. So if you're going to join up, at least wait till you're 17. Come on here, we have a conversation because I can't hit the information you need in comments anywhere. No? That's what I recommend. The best thing you could do, Zach Don, you're not going to need money soon if you're actually enlisted. Max Edits. Hey, Kaz, dumb question. I wear glasses all the time. Shall I be worried for reserves, Kapuka, duration-wise, or will I be fine? Mate, etc. Mate, Max, you're just going to have to work that one out, man. I never had glasses when I was in the army, so I actually don't know. I really don't know. Is there anyone here that was in the military? He wants infantry. That's his dream. Yep. Okay, they'll make sure you don't quit. Love, do soldiers and officers do the IMTs together at Kapuka? No, they don't. That's a good question, but infantry minor tactics. IETs, I believe is the word you're looking for, but senior charmers. IETs. Okay. Remember also that at Kapuka, it's highly unlikely you'll ever see anyone you go to Kapuka with ever again that's not going to your corps. And if you do, it'll be like two ships in the wind passing each other. It's not going to be a big deal. You don't hang out with each other, etc. All right? So once you get on those buses, after you leave Kapuka, it's all over. When you go to IETs, remember that that's like going to high school. That's graduating to a greater level where you get yelled at less, but the expectations are higher. When you get to IETs, we can't naturally just scrub what your personality was at Kapuka. Okay, it continues on. So I'll retract one step and I'll say, and there's going to be guys that are in the military right now that are watching right now. We've got guys getting to Kapuka, Singo, right now. Yep. And they're about to start their journey in IETs. All the best to those in Gallipoli platoon. Go to Defence Bank and go and say hello to Fiona. Great lady. The girls in the medical centre. Tell them all that Kaz sent you, and you might get either slapped, or they might say, oh, it's Kaz. Okay? You need to work out what you are. Are you a giver or a taker? If you're a giver, that will translate with you through the buddy system, being a good mate, good comrade, helping others. And if you concentrate on getting your team through, then there's a high likelihood that you're going to be fine because you won't be able to actually focus on your own pain and anxieties. If you're a taker, then that's a solo wolf's journey. And when time sucks, it sucks. And you might, breathe through but not understand how many backs you walked on to get to what you got. You may not be appreciated. So when you get to IET training, again, it's very important that you sit down with the guys at Gallipoli platoon. I'm talking about infantry at the moment. It'd be the same for Navy. It'd be the same for Air Force. And when you actually get to your platoon, your session, you need to reestablish the pecking order. And that should be done through BFAs or the BFD, the basic fitness diagnostic. When you get to the School of Infantry, understand that if you don't pass that BFD on the Thursday, you won't be going to a session at all. What you're going to be doing then is going into a conditioning program that'll be quite rigorous. It's not going to be like a puka. You're going to get worked. Your anus will know you're in Singleton, and the sun doesn't work until 11 o'clock almost in winter in Singo. But you won't be following on with your mates into session, okay, which is a pretty big deal because it was all averted by doing hard work before you got there, and I've said that a million times. So do that. Yeah. So work out with your buddies, righto, guys. 12 of us normally in a section, normally about 48 to 50 people in a platoon, named after a battle honour. As soon as you find out you're in Bin Bar platoon, as soon as you find out that you're in Marianne Sang, as soon as you find out that you're in Long Tan, okay, in Kapiong, etc., then you should get on your phone as soon as you can and do all of the research you possibly can about the dates, the amount of people killed, who you were fighting, where it was at. Because once you find out what platoon that is, you will get quizzed by your section commanders, and you need to be answering those questions. You'll be on the shit list already. Yep. Taken very seriously. Nice and cold for Singo IETs. Absolutely. Carl P knows. So does Dave. Here we go. What do we got here? Question everything. Aim as high as you can. The infantry wants competent people, and it's increasingly technical. Absolutely it is. Absolutely. You used to be able to get away with being a tough guy, with being a robust guy, being a funny dude that can get the girls as well as put down a carton without actually throwing your dinner up. But that's not enough these days. You need to be able to represent technologically. You need to be able to be a public speaker. To become a sniper, it's as much about how you communicate your detailed tactical back brief to a commander, squeeze a trigger, release, follow through without any disturbance to the firer's position, or being seen and compromised by the enemy. Exactly, Kaz. Duty first is really good. Yep. Oh, there we go. So we've got Barton. I'm actually, my ex is a Barton last week. Looking forward to what comes next. Medical comes next. Don't look forward to it. It might be a doctor that's using your nuts as a squeeze doll. Could be looking to see if anything comes out of your clacker when you duck walk. But, mate, congratulations, Mr. Barton. Let us know how that goes. Oz Annan. Kaz, my training corporal has told us that unfortunately failing the BFA, BFD at Singleton now no longer holds you back. You now continue through and get assessed again later. Well, I tell you now, Aussie, that would suck for the person that fails, because if you can't pass it, you don't deserve to be in session. I'll tell you straight to your face. You've had all the chance. You've had more chance than anyone that's ever had the opportunity to actually go for training. I don't like anyone if they fail. Straight away, I think you're a fucking jack man that didn't put the work in before you got there, and now I'm going to get my ass kicked for the next 16 weeks while we're trying to carry you through everything and probably carrying guns because... And I'm going to suffer bringing you up because you didn't have the motivation to do your own fucking dream job and actually put the work in to get you where you had to be. Now, the platoon that went in the other day, out of all of them, only 2 people failed. One was apparently a really good guy, just he didn't come up with the goods, and that was sad for him. He won't be joining his mates in session. But you need to do the work, and I don't have any pity on someone from an instructor's point of view or a soldier's point of view on anyone that turns up unprepared, because your mates do all the suffering for your lack of diligence. And we've got guys right now in chat that have people like that in their call sign. Believe me, you will get group punishments based on the failings of one, and that's what we do. And it works. Nigel, nuts and clacker not checked at my medical. You must be a very good-looking dude there, Nigel. They never checked mine either. It must be a looks thing. Hey, Casey Legend, you helped me with my army progress. Thank you very much, Banana Boat. Where are you now, mate? Let us know. Have you succeeded? Have you got IETs? Are you at your unit? I'm sure there's probably some people right now at the School of Infantry that are going, oh, shit. I don't know if this is where I want to be right now. It's starting to feel really real. The calm before the storm. Yeah. Dumb question, Kaz, but is the logistic role such a drive? Would you be going in and out from barracks to barracks with armour escort? Dumb question, but in logistics role, such as a driver, you can be driving anything. You're going to have codes for almost everything, mate. In and out from the barracks to be with armour escort. No. Embrace the storm, become it. I like that. Duty first. Hey, look who's here. It's one of our favourite people, the Wasp. G'day, mate. How are you? Wasp, you've come here a little bit late. Did you know, mate, that Mexico has just had 37 candidates for their election just get murdered. Now, what does that say about the person who's actually in charge, who's alive, other than complicit? No, I knew you hadn't failed, Aussie. Haven't failed a BFA, but no intention to ever fail. Currently on the cusp of a sub 10-minute run. Well done. We'll be under that soon with more work. The sad thing, Aussie, is if you actually get under 10 minutes, you're going to face the same effects as those that have gone under 10 minutes, and now you've got to go under 9. That's what you've got to get to. That's the golden pass, is to run in the 8s. You know? Kaz, have you heard anything from Wingnut? I haven't heard from Wingnut, actually, since he's been in. For those that don't know, Wingnut is 54 years old and is at Kapuka right now, facing trials and tribulations. Mitchell Hooper, no notifications. I got in late, man. I got in late from dropping my daughter's school bag off and all that sort of shit and putting on my John Rambo jacket, etc. The secret to surviving IETs is being a teammate. You know, who is it hard for? It's hard for those that turn up with the basic fitness. I'll share an analogy for you in a minute that tells you it's not really your fault, and I'll explain that one in a moment. It's hard for married guys that have children and a developed family at home, because they're not going to be in the cult of personality, which is about going out, getting pissed, testosterone pouring out of their lapels as they go down with their Sinead O'Connor haircut to the Honeysuckle Hotel, and maybe Matty Morris from Zero Limits has his boys work you over like a fucking chiropractor for being an idiot in public. So that can feel like it's an isolating thing. What I'd say is get another couple of blokes like yourselves and have it all about coffee, down to the beaches in Newcastle, looking at the ladies that you don't intend on touching, taking some of that salt water and enjoy the atmosphere. Newcastle's an amazing place. And if you ever get posted back to Singleton as an instructor, that's where you're going to spend a lot of your downtime. So do that. There's guys that isolate themselves and spend a lot of time at the barracks, go in, hang out on phones, all that sort of shit at Singo. It's not a good idea. You know, the people at Singleton don't like you as an IET. You may not realise it. I'll tell you, they do not like you. Okay? They're competing with you for the 2 girls that live at Singleton. You know, it's not a good fit. So survive in Singo, go to Newcastle. Go with a group of guys. Don't go 100 miles an hour on the piss like I did, like everyone used to do, because everyone will know who you are, where you're from, and word gets back quickly as well. Yep. Book early to go to Newcastle on Diggers shuttles, and they'll be waiting for you. I was actually going to be a competitor to Diggers shuttles, but I didn't end up doing it because I didn't know what was happening after Army. Eden sounds like a great name. Sounds like a place I'd like to live. I'm also worried because I want to join as infantry for 5 to 6 years and get a trade, but I'm scared that I'm not going to do the right thing in the Army and leave myself stuffed. Help out, please, mate. Eden, what are you talking about, mate? What are you talking about? What you need to do right now for the cost of a coffee a month is you need to get onto Patreon, and you and I are going to have a big conversation tomorrow with everyone else who's on Patreon that comes today. We'll be talking tomorrow at a time that suits you, or tomorrow night, or through this week. Guys and gals, I cannot answer all of these questions on here. If you're willing to pay for a cup of coffee through a subscription to have an hour's conversation, that's a pretty goddamn deal. Eden, I will take you to Eden with the wisdom from someone that done, 6 times the requirement to sign on. You know, listen to me and I will get you there and you'll be a happy man. Yep, there's nothing wrong with what you're saying. 5 or 6 years in infantry, then going over to a trade, you can't go wrong. And they will allow you to do that. Look at it. Look what we've got here. One of our very first and most appreciated people, Tom of the Jungle. Tom was there for our fitness videos. Tom was there. He used to be the undefeated street fighter, you know, at Penrith. Down hates this story when I let you know. And basically, he joined the military. I went to his enlistment ceremony, saw him get on the bus. He hasn't looked back since then. I believe you've got to miss, mate. I believe he's bought some land. He's been promoted. You know, he's a fuel specialist. He's a great dude, and we're lucky to have him. And he never comes up short. He's tall as hell, actually. Now, Stretch, glad he didn't go to Armoured Corps. He wouldn't have fit in there. Hit the like button if you can, team. It's free. Tom, give us some advice. He says he's thinking of you all. For anyone that says, oh, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing by joining the army, well, guess what? He's still here. His life has been completely turned around. Can we get some thumbs up right now for Tom of the Jungle? Please? I don't say please. What am I talking about? We're soldiers here. AJD. Hey, Kaz, I passed my psych. I'm glad to hear, mate. Defence medical assessments for infantry. However, I was notified that police check is still outstanding to be cleared. Any idea on what may be the hold-up? They're just doing a police check. Is there anything you're guilty of, AJD? Anything at all? Let us know. No, don't let us know, in case someone's watching. Are you guilty of anything? If you're not, you've got nothing to worry about, mate. Nothing to worry about. Concerned Aussie's here too. G'day, buddy. We've got to talk again soon. It's almost like I miss you. Dave D. Dave knows him. Eden, let's see you pop up on that Patreon, mate, so I can give you that help. You sound like you're worried. Nim SS. Hey, Kaz, really thinking about joining the infantry, but I'm going to graduate high school first. That's a great idea, mate. And yeah, I like that. Short choose subjects will give you qualifications, construction, fitness, etc. No. English, maths, science. That's all. That's all you need, mate. The fitness, yeah, do that in your own time. But other than that, you're good, mate. You're good. Anything that can get you into STEM will help you with infantry, problem-solving capabilities, etc. Never pull out of something until you actually have an enlistment date. If you're in the military, if you've got a trade, if you're in tertiary studies, and you decide you want to join the military, all you should do is do that application while you're actually still going through there, and not until you get an enlistment date should you go, bam, and do an Air Force ejection from where you are and actually then tell everyone, I'm going to the military right now, okay? Don't pull it out beforehand because something could come up before that and you might leave yourself in a shitty position. Ozan, Kaz, did you ever get nerves ranched right before a fitness assessment? Yeah, because I wasn't sure if I was going to come first or not. Like I said, never failed a BFA, but always. If so, what helped you before assessments? Fucking hard, fucking work, and a lot of fucking. That's what got me there. You know, anyone that was in the army with me knows that if I had to walk from point A to point B and I wasn't marching troops, I was running. When I wasn't running, I was standing there. Even in New Zealand, I was known as the push-up guy. Because I just get down and just do push-ups for no reason. You know, so when it come time to doing a BFA, the only thing I was nervous about is, am I going to come first at everything? Is anyone going to pep me off and come second at something? Almost never did I not come first. Gav Whiteside beat me. You know, fantastic icon of the 1st Battalion, the Royal Australian Regiment. I got a female beat me in a run in an 11-kilometre run in a road run. You know, I swore at her. She came back and said, what happened? I said, mate, I gave you the title. I tried my very hardest to beat you. You beat me. Well done. Almost not too cow. Push-ups. Normally 100 push-ups. You know, and that was what I put out to people in the School of Infantry. I only ever got beaten once at the School of Infantry, and that was by a private soldier who was about 3 foot tall, and his last name was Patel. He was a man of colour, short guy, loved the guy, and he got one more push-up from me, so I bought him a carton as an IT from an instructor. You know, so if you put in the work, there is no such thing as anxiety other than the anxiety of competition to come first, second, or third. If you're ladies, just hope there's not a tranny there that's going to take the title from you. Okay, currently 16, plan to go infantry. I train Muay Thai and gym daily, although I get good grades at school, and some family tell me what the infantry pathway would be better for me. Thoughts? Tell me that the infantry pathway would be better for me. Mate, you're 16 years old. That is because you were overflowing with testosterone. You know, that's fine. You have the calling for you to go out and do the warrior's mindset. I get that. But you also have to balance that with success. Take your time and know there's not a race. Do it properly. And understand missions at times that you don't like. So at the moment, that mission is to pass year 10 English and maths and that 18, 19 is still very young to be joining the military. Take your time, young man. Keep the physicality jail. Don't get a criminal record. Don't get tattoos on your hands or neck, and get a pass in English and Maths year 10 at least. We want you to do it right. Maintain the respect of your family, and they'll respect you for the path you follow. And it'll all work out. But well done, hyper-lethal. So I'm telling you, someone that is getting into gap here. Hey, Jaden, whilst also doing the HSC, trying to balance fitness and work, you made the right school. Can't leave to being arse deep. Okay. I've got a mate wanting to do Kapuka with me. Can he be in my section, or will they separate me? Absolutely know that you know each other. We don't do umbilical cords here. Battle buddies are forged with people that are strangers. That forces you to come together to alleviate and execute, what would you call it? Victory over adversity. Pull each other through, not go in there with ready-made buddies. Okay, if you know your mate is coming at the same time as you, then what you do is you pretend you don't know each other. Get down there and then, sweet, we're together. Elise King, that's the spirit. Elise fused. She's actually Elise Queen. She's going in very, very soon, and we're very, very proud of her. And her life is about to change. When I'm on the phone to her, I'm talking to her as a soldier. She's representing a family, then chuffed. So males, females, go in there, represent your family well, and we're very, very proud of you. Have 100 points in advance. Hey, what's going on here? A little bit of, what do we call it? Hare Krishna. Not too cow. What worry? What have I done to deserve this? For you, mate, cheers. Banana boat 30 plus. Thank you very much, my man. I'm going to buy some raw chicken with that. I need to get a video made up of me actually looking like I'm about to. We do a bit of nutsu cow, a little bit of, some of the old school shit with the calamari, etc. Oh, no, this is not a good one. Banana boat. Wait 2 seconds. I'll get you off for 2 seconds there. Philip, hey, Kaz, I'm still very fit. Do you think the Army infantry, it's normally an automatic no, okay, to even serve in the military? There's been some changes to that where they'll do a lung expansion test for you, and they will detect. And I really hope that you have the lung function test to allow you in. But normally, asthma was always an absolute bam, red stamp no. If that is the case, then we can talk to an alternative to careers other than military, which and that it always breaks my heart when I see someone with the calling of the light horse, that just doesn't get the opportunity because of something like asthma. It sucks, and it hurts us to hear you say it, mate. The medicine man, in the heart of adversity and strain, we found the strength to endure, to persevere, and to emerge as soldiers, united by the bonds of shared struggle and unwavering determination. Now, let me tell you, medicine man is a guy who's high functioning, ex-infantry, and all I'll say is he's a doctor now, okay? So when people say Army, infantry, etc., and they talk about things like IQ levels, dumb grunt, crayon eater, just remember almost all of my mates are either like medicine man, doctors, tertiary study, or they're scientists, or they're CEOs of small companies, entrepreneurs, business owners, very, very successful. As a matter of fact, the only YouTuber who's helping you is ex-infantry. Infantry? Huh. No, I don't believe so. Eden, sorry, mate, join Patreon for free. The $2 a week one is sold out. Will it come back? No, it's the, mate, don't be like that, Eden. Time is money, bro. It's going to sit on the phone for an hour with someone who's trying to get as cheap as possible, wouldn't buy as much as a can of Coke for me, mate. Come on. That's being pretty jack. You know, the phone number doesn't go out to the free entries either. You know, I'm not going to sit and talk to 20 people with free Patreon subscriptions that takes up 20 hours of my time away from my family, away from my life, because people wouldn't buy you a cup of coffee. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's fair enough, man. No one would do that. This week, Inogra has got an open day for Army, and Emily, there we go, has an open day for Air Force. Get to check out the gear and climb all over the machinery. It's one of the things that they should have, guys. I'll get to you in a sec, Tom, and I wasn't trying to be mean back there, man. They should actually have a full infantry pack in recruiting centre with a mock weapon that you can actually pick that up and say, this is the sort of equipment we're talking about that you'll be carrying. So just remember what you're setting yourself up for, my man. You know, so you know how much a weapon weighs, how much a pack weighs, how much body armour weighs, what it feels like when it's on. That might be enough for you to make go, yeah, you know what? I might be a truckie, actually. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, Tom of the Jungle, serving member. My advice is go for it. You've got nothing to lose. Infantry isn't for everyone, and that's okay. And that's coming from a guy who's a tough guy. There's plenty of opportunities for specialist jobs, trades too, and he loves his. How many years have you been in now, Tom? At least. Why is it? I licked my finger one day while I had the sauce from some buffalo wings, chicken wings, while I was here. No sooner did I eat it that I went like that and licked the spice off, that I went, that was spice off what have I just done? And about an hour later, the vomiting started, and it was there for 24 hours. So now I talk about the raw chicken. That's where it comes from. Almost everything on this channel has some sort of LORE, some lore evolved around it. Is the stream lagging, is it? Holy shit. Hey, there's my man. There's someone, Dwayne. There's no problem with you being late. That's what she said. Dwayne, can we have a chat tomorrow, mate? You know, since you and I have had a talk. Sorry, Carl P, 3R, ex-para, yep. What's the approximate total weight of gear? All right, that's a good one too. We're talking about survival of army training. Let's talk about some weapon weights, etc. That I was with is now the EF88, that the Minimi also has the Maximi, the 7.62 version. You got the Mag 58, the Mike 240 Golf, as they'd call it in the USA, 7.62. Let's talk about some weights, shall we? Okay, so your body armor at over 14 kilos. You know, ammo, water thrown in. That's not being a gunner. You know, helmet as well, over 14 kilos. And that's without carrying your night vision equipment. That's without your combat pack, without carrying your food. You know, what do you reckon, Tom, is the average amount of equipment weight you'd carry? I'd say it'd be about 36 kilos. 36 kilos, or a tie wife, as I like to call it. Now, let's talk about ammunition. So your rifle, the Steyr weighs around 3.6 kilos, you know, unloaded, 4.1 kilos loaded with ammunition on it, 30-round magazine. So you'll be holding that across your body. Make sure you cam your hand up. Otherwise, that becomes a central zeroing point for the enemy. You know, center of the scene mass. Hopefully it hits your body armor and it doesn't go through it. But cam your hand up. Don't wear gloves in hot weather either, unless you're in a vehicle, you know, in case you got to get out and everything's hot because some sort of thermal weapon system has made it impossible to use your normal skin. So it's a big deal with the Steyr, okay, with a normal combat rifle. And that doesn't matter if it's an M4, it doesn't matter if it's a variant of the SAA 90 from the UK. They're all the same. But when you get to the machine gun and you're carrying the minimum or equivalent of 6mm machine gun, you're going to have normally around 800 rounds for first line ammunition. You know, they might even try to dump that down to 600. If they do that, they're fucked. You won't even make it through an attack with that amount of ammunition. So The minimi weighs about 7 kilos. But then with the spare barrel with it, an extra 3.1 kilos. Okay? So you're looking at a 10 kilo weapon there. Okay? A 7 kilo weapon with 200 rounds of ammunition on it is 10.15 kilos. So to players, and I'd say this to everyone in infantry, you look like you don't know what you're doing if you don't do what I'm about to tell you, is you should only ever have 50 rounds hanging off your machine gun. Try and keep it just above that 8 kilos as much as you can. Because for every extra kilo that you're carrying for 8 to 12 hours a day, waiting for a short or long halt, your arms are going to feel like my right arm at the moment. Absolutely, critically fucking aching. So have 50 rounds. That way you also won't have an IA when you hit the ground. Use all that 50 rounds to re-win the initiative in the contact. Okay, and then from there, then you can load back up again. And if you've got all your belts broken up into 50 rounds, as soon as you fired 4 belts, you've got to change the barrel so it doesn't overheat. Some really easy, smart things. Okay, Carl P is saying on the same weight as Kaz, 36 kilos. Or the same weight as me, 36 kilos. Come on. Everyone knows I'm all dick. I'll be with you in 2 seconds, Bob Hawke. So your weight is always going to change also depending on what the load list is for the mission. Take, for example, if you're in Darwin, if you're in in somewhere just benign like East Timor, we had to carry at least 20 litres of water at any stage. Weight when we actually went in 1999 to East Timor, Interfet the first weight, I think the lightest pack was about 70 kilos. 70 kilos. That's a very light modern woman, I know, in Australia. But when that's on your back, that's worse it is. 70 kilos on your back, and that's on very, very fit, strong men. Now, imagine what it's like as you go week after week after week without the nutrition. You're only eating ration pack. It gets harder and harder. Maximise 7.62 machine gun. Shoot about 800 rounds of that. If you have a Mag 58, you're looking at a machine gun that at standard is 10 kilos before the spare barrel. So add another 3 kilos to that, and then add another 24 to 26 kilos of ammunition for rounds there. So you're looking at an astronomical amount of ammunition, which is the reason why I say women should never go to infantry, because to go to infantry, you have to be able to do every single position within a section. And if you can't be the gunner on a Mag 58, on a Maximi, on a Minimi, then hyper lethal. Really want to be infantry, but I feel as though I could flourish in an officer role. No, forget it, man. Could tell me if infantry officers can be in the shit with their men. They don't. It's not like the movies where they lead them. They're inside. They give the commands. Sure, think of them as the the quarterback, and they look and throw the Tom Brady ball to one of the section commanders with a task verb on what he's to do. I believe when you become an officer now, I think you're too young to. At 16, our officers, I think they've dropped the ball with what the criteria is for selection for officers. It tends to be on their academic ability rather than what their actual leadership credentials are. And we're starting to see more and more of that. When you see the classes of guys at RMC and gals, they are not what you expect from the Premier Leadership Academy of Australia, believe me. But yeah, I'm going to get the page right. How would the whole chat thing work? Is there a time for everyone, or is it per person? Per person, man. When we send you a message, Eden, again, great name. I want to go and oyster tour there. What happens is I send you a message through, work out a time to talk to you, and then we just have a communication that can go anywhere up to an hour or more. 3 hours today talking to 2 people. It's come on there. We have banter. We talk to you. We scalp your problems, and we find the issue, and we make it a non-issue, or we talk about strategies to get past that. Yeah, there is nowhere else you can go that can. I believe infantry soldiers have major back problems after leaving the service with body armour. You're pushing over 50 kilos. Yeah, that's why it's important that we are always working on our core. Don't do as much gym what people are doing because at the end of the day, are you doing it for the girls or are you doing it for your work? It's all about push-ups, dips, chin-ups, rowing, swimming. Keep that back strong. When you have a bad back, it's not necessarily from carrying a pack. You can always put it to the time that you had that jolt injury when you got out of a vehicle, when you did a 2-foot landing off a riverbank, when something happened, you go, I just felt that go. A lot of it, I believe, courses with equipment. The Australian Army should not be doing obstacle courses with equipment on. It's meant to be a time trial. It's meant to be about survival on high tips. This is for instructors and commanders. It's meant to be about command and control from a commander with his guys to go safely, but it's also a race against other sections. It's against the clock. We don't need to be carrying our weapons and hurting them, even the red rifles. We don't need to be carrying our equipment, that is making it even more devastating when something goes wrong. It doesn't really improve anything. If you're going to have a FIBUA, fighting in built-up area obstacle course, which is designed just for urban environment to see if you've got what it takes to get through windows that are up high, to be able to use systems of entry, methods of entry alternately other than the door funnel, then do that. But not on an obstacle course for the sake of doing it just because everyone else seems to do it. In short, don't even try infantry if you quit in athletics or sports in high school. It hurts, it sucks, and you cannot quit. Quit? No, you can't. Skuxlord. Hey there, mate, how you going? Now that's a name. I disagree. Cat strength training in the gym is essential to prevent injury. If you can lift squats, mate, and deadlift or deadlifts, you're going to be stronger on a pack march. Sipma, mate, most of the guys I know that have bad backs do squats and do deadlifts. You've only got to get wrong once in your lifetime and you can screw your back big time. Not only that, deadlifts, and when you do squats, etc., all of a sudden their cardio goes all the way backwards with their baboon ass. I used to go to the gym at least once a day. But when I was there, I was doing chin-ups. I was doing training. I was doing not cardiovascular. I don't get on treadmills. I was doing what do I call it? I'm trying to speak too fast for my brain here. Like calisthenics sort of activities, dips, weighted chin-ups, all of these different things. But if you do things that turn up your hamstrings, etc., that can absolutely make you inoperable when it comes to running. Keeping up with the guys. Now, I don't doubt you've got a different outlook on that, but I don't know if it's on capability or that's just something you like. I disagree. It is essential to prevent injury. Yeah, I think it causes injury. Yeah. Platforming, one of the best things for the transverse abdominal muscles. Yep. Push-ups also works on muscles. It also works on your anterior and posterior deltoids. What I see from 99% of people that go to the gym is they put almost everything on the anterior, the front of their body, and not enough on their back. So they've actually put extra pressure there. Oh shit, we've been on for an hour. Full body motion exercise compounded the best for longevity. Pack march. It does often cause injuries though. Well, I am actually a lot shorter than what I was when I joined the military, and I was below the height required to get a girl's attention then. High performers in current ADF all do heavy strength training. A lot of people get injured from training wrong. Absolutely. And you might be the epitome of training properly. Absolutely. But what we see is this fascinating functional movement being CrossFit, where people are doing heavy weights, beyond their ability, to exhaustion and also to failure, where we start to see the actual technique fall away. And there is no reason 200 kilos, that 180 kilos for that 1 rep max, etc., other than for ego. That's it. Hey, Kaz, I have to go. You too, Damien. You too, mate. Okay. So IETs, it needs to be competitive. You need to look after each other. You need to train together. You need to be around people that are similar to yourself when you actually have that time out. Now, the one that's really important is the first part. To be a volunteer to be going to the posting you're going to, because at IETs, if you do not perform, you will not get the posting choice you want. They're going to get told we have 10 positions for 3 RAR, 10 for 1, 10 for 2, 15 for 6 RAR, 4 for Darwin, and 2 for 8, 9, something like that. Now, if no one wants to go to Darwin and you're in the top lowest performing people in that platoon, and there's no one from Darwin that's proud to be up in that battalion, guess where you're going? You're going to Darwin. So you're always competing for your position in the movement. And I know I'm talking about infantry here. So what I'd say to you, the tips and tricks is let the section commanders know while you're at IET training exactly where you want to go, quiz them for which battalion is the best, why you should want to go there, etc. So that you got, when you get to your posting, you're going to have something similar to a holding platoon where you might even do an acclimation period to get some of the shortfall training done before you actually get to your company allocation, platoon allocation, section allocation, etc. So stick close to the guys that you've left Singo with. You might get the battalion of only 3 of you. Right? But when you get allocated to a rifle company, to a platoon, the very first thing you should do when you get there is say to your missus, if you've got one, I have to marry this platoon for the next 4 months. You've got to let me hang out with them. If they're going out, I'm going out. Not necessarily drinking, I'll at least drive them, and I'll be there. When I get there, you need to be on the forefront, let them know, here is a carton of piss, what flavour do you want, so that I can show my appreciation that now I'm part of your family, this is my part. Talk less, listen more, and when you do your first BFA, that's the first time they're going to see what's your fitness level at. Okay, are you high level, mid level, low level? And it matters. The way you get looked at after that, absolutely it matters. From there, every activity you do on out, no matter how sore you are, if they say you're on the gun, sweet, I'm on the gun, be the best gunner. Whatever you do, be the best. If there's somewhere to be, remember you're the runt. You might be the toughest guy with your knuckles when you first get there, but it's not about standing over your mates. Stand up for yourself. But what you need to do is fit in with that group, let them know you're a team player, you finish what you start, you're a high-level guy, and all of a sudden you will already replace someone who's been there for 2 or 3 years who has no credibility, who's a runt and the cuckold of the platoon. So you'll quickly, they won't necessarily tell you that, but you'll know by the way they treat you. They'll start asking you to come with us. They'll look after you. They want you to be part of their team. They want you to succeed. Everyone is goddamn excited. That's one of the biggest secrets. They all want you to be successful. Okay? You get to the battalion, be proud of the shirt. Always be on time. Hang out with the lads. And you'll do okay. Always be seen to be doing more PT than required. That's a big one. Because then they know that you're and that you're going to be an asset to their team. Well, I know we've been here for a long time, guys. Body fat is far better assessment. What's it? Body fat is a far better assessment than BMI. It's a tough one, isn't it, Senor Sitma? Because at the end of the day, you're like, some guys are suited to positions, aren't they? And as we know, and you probably already know, there's 3 body types. Okay, we've got the endomorph, which is the guy that's fat, even eating fruit, and he's fighting against that weight all his life. And then you've got the, what do you call it? Then you've got the endomorph, which is the guy similar to myself who can live on chocolate, milkshakes, durries, and VB, and fajitas, and is always fit as fuck. ADHD is probably my score, and I'm good to go. Great for scouting and all that sort of shit. Then you've got your mesomorph, which is the guy that is great at dips, great at deadlifts, great at strength activities, normally gets given the gun and is walking muscle regardless of what he actually does or touches. Yep. So there are your 3 body types. What do we got here? Commander to choose how he uses you, isn't it? Hey, Elise. There we go. She's trying to get rid of all the money she's got left before she actually gets to Kapuka in winter. in winter. Thank you very much. That's a dichotomy now. To get something, a fantastic financial, these days, that's the opposite of being a gentleman. Thank you very much. That's some raw chicken right in my guts. Okay, what else we got here? Bob Hawk from Perth, got my physical on the 20th. When you go in there, Bob, you only do the minimum, whatever it is, don't do the minimum. Go in there, go in hard, try to win in the push-ups, the sit-ups. The sit-ups is a weird one because 64 has always been the top score that you can possibly get, yet they let you keep going to 100. I don't know why. I don't know what the go is with that. 64. But if you feel like you haven't done the work, here's a hot tip going back to the enlistment process. When you do your PFA, those PDIs are never going to see you again, ever, unless they're running another PFA before you actually go in. So what I'd say to you is when you do your 64 sit-ups, okay, make it 65 actually, because all they want to know is did you pass? And of course you've already passed. As a matter of fact, if you find out the pass mark is 50 for you, stand up after the 50, because what's going to happen is your legs are going to be affected by the actual sit-ups. And if your beep test is in jeopardy and you haven't watched my first video on the fit, the turnarounds don't cross all the way over the line on a beep test, etc., then you might find yourself lacking. There is strategies to the beep test. From there, if you think that you haven't got what it takes, that gives you another couple of weeks to probably go and put some hard work in. You need to put that work in, because if you don't, you might very well end up being that guy. Fresh Prince, good night, says Elise. You might end up in a position, where all they want is a pass to fail, yes or no, a C competent or NYC not yet competent. What you do is you send a shot over the bow of those that were there that day that are probably going to be in your platoon when you go to Kapuka, like on the 25th of June. Wonder who's going in on the 25th of June. Someone is that's in comments right now. Can we get some thumbs up to going in on the 25th of June, at the cusp of the coldest period of winter? At the end of the day, if you train hard, it doesn't matter. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. SIPMA, absolutely agree, because you train at such a level in the battalion, especially, that fit without an injury, because every day you're doing something. You're massaging cardio with strength training. So that's a very good point. Layden, hey Kaz, appreciate the conversations today, mate. Absolutely fine. From every conversation I have with people, I learn a lot too. Conversation is one thing that's missing from today's society, and it's a sad thing. One of the things I said before, what do you reckon about this, Senor Sipma and Dwayne? It's and Bobby. Normally you see a table with 8 chairs around it, and then you think to yourself, who actually has 8 friends anymore? Who has 8 family members? Do we have TV dinners beside sitting on the lounge because we don't want to face the fact we don't have enough people to have an adult conversation sitting around a table? Well, all of that disappears when you actually go to the military. Then you can have a table that can hold 30 people and still go, we need some more chairs from Bunnings. That is one of the things you cannot explain to people when they say, oh, does the army pay enough? You go, what are you talking about? It pays you in 100 different ways. From South Africa last night. He's come from a country where they have real adversity, where there's real danger. And he's come over here, not only does he want to join the military to give back to the country that's taken him in, but he wants to join it because he wants that mateship. He wants that immersion on people where you can have dark humor. No motherfucking, what do they call it? HR department, etc. Get away from them. Let your words and your actions do the talking for you. Be surrounded by people where you cannot escape. Ability is where your nickname is forged by your deeds or your stuff ups. The army gives you so much, team, and in the future when stability of a lot of industries is going to fall on its ass. The military is going to be surging forward to go somewhere and want to fight either, because when you listen to the videos of all the guys that are in Ukraine and Russia, it's really sad to hear them talking about how they just want to go home. Okay, don't do the beep test to get better at the beep test. True words. Do a mix of long, slow distance, 400-meter and sprints. Yep, train for the BFA or 5-kilometer runs. There's every place in Australia, has the park runs. Go there, meet people, meet girls, compete against your own time, compete, get a lung expansion, be the best version of yourself. We've been on here for an hour and 15 minutes. We better get out of here. Do the beep test once, twice to get familiar, but doing the beep test every day won't help. Absolutely not. And you're probably even going to hurt your legs, get some of those netball injuries. Before we get out of here, I'd like to say, did we cover too many of the actual secrets and tips and all that sort of stuff? Probably not. But I do feel like a zip cord was pulled and I was speaking at 100 miles an hour for an hour and 15 minutes. And I appreciate you guys could be anywhere at the moment, and this is where you are. Guys and gals, conversation, the way I'm talking right now to you, one-on-one, the bat phone is where to find it for the price of a coffee a month. Guys, it's not a chore. It's not. Take it easy. Understand that everyone has their own journey. There is tips and tricks and ways to do it easy, but I still never speak to anyone that regrets their military career, and I don't know about that with any other career that people do. So don't just dip your foot in the water. Plunge in for 4 years, the same amount of time it would take to do an apprenticeship, the same amount of time it would take to do a university degree that may not have a job spill. Learn and understand that what you get out of it is character. Once you have the character, that is going to give you the basement requirements and tools for the rest of your life that will make you highly employable, as long as you don't go to a HR department that sees you as a white male. Sorry about that one. Take it easy, guys. Look after yourself, look after your family, and remember that all of the bureaucracy that's happening in the military has got nothing to do with you. It's not your fault. It's not soldiers from the past. It's not soldiers of the future. You're on this ride the way it is, and it's hitting every single industry. Let's hope that in November, common sense prevails and we go back to loving our country and hearing politicians show a bit of patriotism. How can you be patriotic to the team you love, but not to your country? Eden, to the oyster tours. See you soon. See you later, guys and gals. And remember, we live in the best country in the world, but just some people are trying to take that away from us. Yep. Let's do it to them before they do it to us. Right? Get to it. Press a like. See you soon, you filthy animals. See you, Venom.